Judge number 4.
A very good afternoon to you. Delighted to have your company. Welcome along to the Scandinavium in Gothenburg, Sweden. It's the World Figure Skating Championships, and we're live here all week. It's the second time that the Worlds has come to Gothenburg. The last time was back in 1976, when you may remember, if you're a British skating fan, John Curry won the gold medal then, after winning the Olympic gold in Innsbruck a month earlier. It was the Russians, Pakhomova and Gorshakov, that won the gold in the ice dance, and it's ice dancing that we focus on this afternoon. The panel of judges being introduced to the crowd here, and we've got 31 couples taking part in this stage, and we don't think that the Russians are really in the frame for the gold medal here. It's really a battle between the Americans Tanith Belbin and Benjamin Agosto and the French couple Isabelle Delobel and Olivier Schoenfelder. The Americans, they've never won a gold medal in the ice dance, so it could turn out to be a fascinating afternoon. The first stage of 3 in the ice dance. It's Chris Howarth alongside Nicky Slater all week. And Nicky, your thoughts for this afternoon? This is one of your favourite parts of the event, isn't it?
It is. This is the compulsory dance. So for those of you that have never watched this, you'll be seeing the same steps to just a range of musics, but it's set steps, set music this afternoon. So for me, what happens is you get a comparison of the skaters side by side, so you can see the precision of them. It's a discipline in itself, but there's moves afoot to not have the compulsory dances in the championships at all, because for many people, you know, we're competing in a media-savvy world. We're competing to get as many people watching as we can against other sports, and if you do the same thing 31 times, then people might not be that encouraged to watch. So for the likes of Hendrik Schamberger, my colleague here at Eurosport, we're just talking just before we came on air about the compulsories, and he said, I like watching it. I said, I love watching it too, but we understand it. We understand it in detail. But for the likes of Joe Public and Joanne Public watching, and maybe just interested in skating, it's maybe not the most media-friendly thing. So talks afoot about taking the compulsories out. They may even be out before Vancouver in 2010. And of course, all the competitors here looking at that. The Olympics, always the jewel in the crown of any figure skater's achievements.
The other disciplines here, but not really an ice dance. This is Xiaoyang Yu and Chen Wang.
Продемонстрировать все участники. И первый...
Sequence 1 done, and you can see they're putting in little parts of choreography with the free leg, trying to emphasize more of a tango feel. The little flicks, a little crossover with the leg there. Some of it working well, some of it not quite capturing the tango. Good to try though.
Well, a good effort from these two. Never easy to go out there first in a World Championships. Remember, it's the second time that they've competed in the Worlds. They were 8th in the 4 continents. Xiaoyang Yu and Shen Wang for China. Nicky, this strikes me as a dance that's actually not too difficult to do, but it's difficult to do well.
The basic steps are not that difficult to do, but because you're in tight dance hold all the time, to keep the flow going, you have to be well aligned as a couple. If you get it right, then if the pair of you are totally aligned and you're pushing in the same direction, then it takes half the effort. But if you're slightly against each other, I always talk to
like commentary then, isn't it?
Yeah. Or talking over each other, as will possibly happen this week. You know, but it can slow you down. It's like if you think of the runners of a sled. If they're running totally in alignment, it goes fast. If they're slightly out of alignment, it slows you down. And that couple, at times, they didn't have as much speed as some of the others are going to have. At the start, when we're looking down at what we call the tracings on the ice, they don't have such a big pattern. They're not taking as much ice. Used to be that there were 3 sequences in the compulsory dance. Now there is only 2. And if they'd done a third one, they were actually inside what they'd done the other time, because they should identically repeat each time that pattern on the ice. It should be almost inch perfect. And you can see the comparison as we look down from our commentary position. I like the way they put in a couple of extra flicks with the feet, and they're trying to capture the almost the ballroom tango, the tango feel, with a little bit of essence and trying to make it their own.
So they're ready for their technical score, and 13.37. Presentation 10.53, so you can see that's quite a low score, but it'll be a new season's best for them in the compulsory dances. 23.90 their total score, so a job well done for Xiaoyang and Chen. Well done to them. Smiles and the kiss and cry at the moment. Fantastic experience for them.
Genrik will be pleased with that.
So the score being announced to the crowd here. There's a massive scoreboard in the middle of the arena, and the results being shown there. So the Canadians next up. They were 20th last year. It's 18-year-old Kaitlyn Weaver, in fact an American, but here representing Canada, and 21-year-old Andrew Poje.
The setup for the dance, the couple having a limited amount of time, but they can create some choreography to capture the feel of the tango. Cleaner interpretation, no extra foot movements here. Done as the dance has always been prescribed. We're looking for strong edges. This, you can really push round on that edge. Watch the free leg alignment on the swing here. Good.
Well, good performance, certainly using every inch of the ice surface. You can see them getting really close to the boards on a couple of occasions. This is a couple that made rapid progress, only in the senior competitive ranks for the second season. And in fact, they've made a coaching change in January of this year, now working with Matthew Gates and Shailene Bourne, not feeling that their progress was as quick as they like.
And that can always be a refreshing. It's always a challenge to change your coaches, but it can refresh things for you. Different environment, different people around you. And what they did with that routine, they were looking at doing the traditional depiction of the Argentine tango, trying to capture the tango feel. And it was very strong. Look, the judges looking all the time to see that every free leg movement and every edge is as deep as possible. The free leg movements are aligned. And you can literally push each edge round, so there's this direct comparison. Look, great pictures, see the edges pushing round there. Her leg a little higher, so again, it's everything counts. It needs to be perfectly aligned all the time. Easy to say, hard to do when you're skating flat out. And it's controlled energy in a compulsory dance. I always found it the most difficult part of the competition, because you can't be pushing, you can't get too excited. You have to control yourself and yet capture the feel of the dance. When you're doing your own program or you're doing your original dance, it's more the feel of it. You can get more into it. Here, it's control as well as just putting over that feel. Lovely end position.
So really important to have good control of the nerves and a great setup before it.
It is, and I think different people's personalities fit that, because you have to be raring to go, but just hold it down and do what you're supposed to do. You can't go too fast. You can't get too excited.
So technical score 15. They're looking to get better than 27.47 if they can do it. And indeed they are, 27.74. It'll be for Kaitlyn and Andrew, and they'll be pleased with that. So a new season's best, the change of coach perhaps working. There's Shailene Bourne looking up at the large screen in the middle of the arena. So a good start for these two, and as always, a great contingent of Canadians here. Some of them actually in our hotel. So good start to the week for them.
Next to skate, representing Uzbekistan, and Ramil.
So two couples to go in this opening group, and both of the teams skating in the Worlds for the first time. On your screen now, a couple who finished 12th in the Four Continents Championships, representing Uzbekistan. This is Sun Hu Yu and Ramil Sarkulov. See when there isn't a big height difference between the couple.
When the lady's going backwards, the man's head is just on line with hers. It's not as aesthetically pleasing as when the guy's got that height difference and can just still be above her when he's going forwards.
Yes, you can see perhaps not quite as strong as some of the couples that we've seen so far, but nevertheless a good performance from these two. Sun-Hyu, originally from Seoul in Korea, but they made the move to Centerville in the USA, but they train in Washington.
They cut the first part of the pattern for me, and the depth of that first section of the dance not as great. The edges not as deep as even some of the ones we've seen so far. So that not as impressive as you look down on it, and you see that compared directly to the ones before. And it was a little clipped, you know, the going round the far end, the cross roll and the swing, they're trying to emphasize the movement from here. They're pulling back with the free leg, but as they pull back, it didn't quite have the continuation on the drive of the edge and really going up and around the circle that I've seen so far. And this too, you can see this as he's pushing, you need to push. That was nice to be up and then down on the knee a little bit there, but didn't quite get the drive that they could get. This is the first part of the section. See a little wobble there? That was the second sequence, and then slightly out of alignment on that. If you get it flowing, it's easy, but if you start to cut across the circle a little bit, it makes it more difficult. And each sequence, it's harder because you're tired of the second sequence when you're trying to do it.
Well, these two only been together a year and a half. That makes a difference, doesn't it? They've got to learn to gel and work together.
Yes, and when something like this, having this controlled part of the competition, you know, being used to doing it and coming out to a world championship and doing it early on as well, all that contributes to, you just get a little tense. And if you get tense on skates, you know, Chris, it just stops the flow. You have to be relaxed down into the ice, let it go. Second sequence, you could just see he was up a little bit, just pulling back a bit.
So 21.85 their score. That puts them into third of the three that we've had so far. So unlikely they'll make the cut. After the original dance, the top 24 will make it through to the free dance. So really those scores reflecting the comments that Nicky made there. So there they are, one couple to go in this opening group, and they represent Bulgaria. Another couple really gaining experience here, massive moment for them, first World Championships. Just 19 years of age, Ina Demireva and 20-year-old Yuri Kurukin. Against each other at times here, so they're putting a massive amount of power to try and get the ice coverage, but they're not really flowing together as they should be. So not as much ice coverage, and you can see they're trying to push it. Smaller pattern on the ice there, and not getting back to the restarting position. So slower,
have that flow and those deep edges that we're looking for.
Well, yes, looked a bit of a struggle in places, didn't it? Could have done with more flow, more power, and it looked like they were working hard. But it's all about experience for these two. First senior international for them. They were 24th in the World Junior Championships. So that gives you some idea of the experience that these two are going to gain here.
Yes, and you know, it did sound critical, because it was. The thing about this dance is the couple has to be following each other around the edges. So if the lady's leading, the man has to be following up and around the curve. You can't cut across her, and if she's following you, she has to be following your line. And throughout that routine, the couple were slightly battling against each other on the edges, not really going up and around. Now you can see she's cutting across him. And again, she's cutting inside him. She's trying to get there sooner than she should. The way to get round a circle on ice dance is to go, you face out of it and you get round it. It sounds crazy and it feels crazy, but that's the way you get around the circle. You don't try and cut in, you skate up and around it. And they haven't quite got that yet, so they didn't have the depth of edge. Look here, see the tracings? They're inside the others. They're not out to the barrier as much as the others has been. So a lot to learn here. And that's why I like the compulsories, because you can see the relative ability of the skaters. When they get to the top level, though, it's so difficult to separate them, because they're all doing it almost to perfection.
Well, Ina knows a bit about skating at the top level. Her sister, Albina Denkova, was 2007 World Ice Dance Champion. So massive experience there, and she will know what she's got to do.
Yes, and they had a fall, I think, in the warm-up. So, you know, he was leaning backwards, got that out of his system. And it is one of those things, you know, you've got the world's out of the way, and you know what it's like to be here. It's a new environment. You're meeting all the top stars. You're seeing how fast they go, and just enjoy the experience. We've said it so often, haven't we, when people come out the first time, just enjoy being here. But they need to really, you know, have much more power, depth of edge and alignment, and that's why the compulsories are good, because they're training ground for the ice dancers.
Well, where will they fare? It's Weaver and Poje who are leading at the moment, and can tell you, looking down, doesn't look to be good news for these two. It'll be 17.75 their total score, so well below their season's best. And that will have them in fourth place, fourth of the four that we've had so far. Wealth of experience. They've been competing together for a long time now, and really looking to make a name for themselves here in Sweden.
Powerful start. A very good first sequence, didn't quite match the pattern on the restart.
Well, a very elegant performance, there's no doubt about that. This is a couple that 3 years ago we thought may stand a chance of getting inside that top 10. They finished 13th then, but over recent years, over the last couple of years, they've been going in the wrong direction. Could only manage 16th in the Worlds last year. They're in the top 10 at Europeans and have been for the last 4 years, but how do you feel with that performance? Is that good enough to get them knocking on the door of a top 10 finish at this stage?
Well, I think the start of it, you know, the pre-start, if you like, had a lovely flow to it, quality of edges, and they had a lovely run into the first sequence. And that the depth that they got from that run-in on the first side was very impressive. On the restart, they didn't quite manage to maintain that speed. It's difficult from the cross rolls, the lady doing backward cross rolls, the man doing forward cross rolls on the end of the second side to really develop the same amount of power as you get. There's the start of the first sequence. So when they did the second sequence, it didn't match quite, and you know, it's not that much of a difference, but it didn't have the same flow and the same impression of smoothness and easy deep edges that it had on the first one. So the second set of marks on that for the second sequence wouldn't be as high for me. This is just before the restart. Now, to get that aligning and to get the power, you see, he's just slightly back with his hips. He wasn't really down in the knee as much as he wanted to be. That was probably the end of it, just before the final bit. So he'd taken his foot off the pedal. He'd stopped driving through. And I don't think you should do that. You should always be pushing right through as though you were going to do that third sequence. Got some impressive edges there.
Well, the European Championships this year was where they achieved their season's best score. The compulsory is 33.02 is what they're looking for, 16.34, that's not too bad at all. It's going to be a good score for these two. Not as good as they got at the Europeans, but that will give them a total of 31.86, which will put them into the lead by some way. So Fraser and Lukanen now leading. It's Weaver and Poje for Canada in second place, but there's some 4 points behind these two.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing the USA.
So the arena filling up, and this a big moment for the American team. Plenty of support for them. Runners-up in the Olympics and bronze medalists in the World Championships for the last 2 years. This is 23-year-old Tanith Belbin and 26-year-old Benjamin Agosto.
Deep, clipped movements, as they should be for the tango. Lovely little punctuation with her hand movements. Oh no! Well, would you believe it?
Perhaps the pressure getting to them. That is not the start that they wanted at these World Championships. Now, they said before skating that they've never been so prepared for a World Championships, and just a lapse of concentration. Looked like she stuck her toe into the ice and went down. Now,
gosh, you know, that twizzle, she's so sharp on it. The girls, they've done it thousands and thousands of times without disaster like that, and it just shows things you never can tell. It looked superb up to then. I loved the whole presentation of it. They set it feet from the judges to give the maximum impact with the start and the choreography of that. The way they were poised, the way they were actually presenting themselves, so important from the moment you step onto the ice. The way you sell it is the marks you're going to get. And look at the expression. I mean, it's right the way through.
yeah, it was skated at a completely different pace, wasn't it? The depth of edge you've been talking about, it was there for all to see.
It was, and it's, I call it clippedness, you know. It's a tango, so the movements need to have that tango feel to them. The little nuance of the head, the little movement there, but it still keeps flowing. Look at the arm, a little movement there as well. And oh, I'm just presenting it now deep. Got to keep it moving. Look at her, and they've got the electric connection as well. Now, if this is going to be the... No, that's the restart. Now, this is going around the top end. If he carries on, we'll see it in a moment, I'm sure. We're going to see it. So they clip, little flick of the foot. That's fine. Turn.
Oh,
she didn't make it right round. Just caught the edge. Now you've got to get back into it straight away. So you see how quick she was back into it. Now the dance is marked in sections, so that affects one part that the judges will be evaluating. But it's so obvious. It's such an obvious mistake that it's going to cost them for sure. Goodness.
Well, it just goes to show they're not superhuman. Mistakes happen right at the top level. They're going to lead, but it's not going to be the sort of lead that they would have wanted. 36.03, their season's best. 16.88, presentation score 19.14. So that gives them 35.02, 1 point deduction for the fall. Now they lead at the moment, but there is a long way to go, and it's got to be good news for the French. Remember, Domnina and Shabalin, the Russian pair team, ice dance team, not here because of injury. So really the contestants for the gold medal, the French team, who we'll see in an hour or so. So it's disappointment for the Americans at this stage.
Next to skate and representing Japan.
So it's all happening here this afternoon in Sweden. Our 7th team on the ice representing Japan. First time for them. So we're going to see a drop in standard, but it's a big afternoon for these two. Kathy and Chris Reed. You may think their names don't sound very Japanese. They were born and live in the USA. They train in Hackensack. Well, what a moment for them. And they seem to grab it with both hands. Didn't look nervous at all. Nice and smooth. Not as strong as some of the others, but a good effort from these two.
Yeah, well skated. A lot of the leg lines were well matched. The flow was good. Hasn't got the power of some of the other couples yet. And there are slight, not misalignments, but just the end of a leg line on the transition is not staying quite as aligned as the top couples will achieve, but they'll be pleased. Because it's the same steps and the same movements, when you're looking at evaluating it, particularly when the judges see it on their screens, they see it, of course, right in front of them, you want total precision. So you want, if a free leg is done with a swing, you want the swing to match right the way through it, hold, and then the next part of it match too. So there are parts when that wasn't quite happening on the restart. If they show the restart, you'll see that the free legs didn't completely match. And that takes loads of time. Hold it, hold it, hold it. And then the transition at exactly the same moment. So the knee bend happens at the same time, and you're actually moving as one as a couple. And sometimes the guy will move his leg just a touch earlier. When you see it so precise and so lined up, it's magical to see it. And the top ones do it and make it look like it's no effort, and they could go on for days. Yeah. And indeed, if you do get it absolutely right, it's not a massive effort, because it's the technique that takes over.
It's a skill, though. Well, while these marks are coming up, I've just had a chance to look down at the computer at the American scores, and in that section where they took the tumble, they lost about 1.3, plus the 1 point for the fall. So a total of 2.3 lost.
Goodness. Right.
And that is going to be expensive for them. But we focus on the marks for Kathy and Chris now, and 28.16, a new season's best for them. All smiles. We thought they did a great job, and so did the judges. So well done to them. And that puts them into third place. Fantastic at this stage. They'll take that. Third in behind Fraser and Lukanen, and Belbin and Agosto leading at the moment. So well done to them. Nikolai Morozov, Galit Shea. The coaches alongside, they're all smiling too. We've got one couple to go in this second group. Representing Belarus, it's a couple who finished in 22nd place in the European Championships this year. First time at the Worlds for them, so another team really out here for experience. We wish them the very best of luck. This is Ksenia Shmirina and Igor Minstrov. Again, slip. I was going to say he's been doing a different pattern. So they've had more clean ice in a way than some of the other couples who've been going over the same patterns of the preceding couple. But again, just a lapse in concentration.
You know, we take it for granted when it works, but you have to stay focused every moment.
That's a pity. It was a strong start, but all fell apart on that second sequence. And these two been together for just over a season, and in fact got married in November last year. So a team both on and off the ice, coached by Irina Lobacheva.
And again, like Kathy and Chris before them, they were getting very good speed and edges on the first side, but they'd chosen to do this slightly different pattern, which, you know, like I said before, if you do the same pattern for you each time of each of those two sequences, then that's as valid as you like. And he really was pushing very deeply on the edges on the end of the first side, so covering a lot of ice. A lot of good points in that dance, but you can't afford to make any mistake at all in the compulsory dances. It's so unforgiving. This was the first side, so here he's actually inside some of the tracings and pushing right up to the others. And so now here he was closer to the barrier on this section, and he stayed closer into the barrier than some of the others on that. Now on that, to me, looking in the hip line a little bit across the edge rather than going up and around it, as I was taught to do. You can look at, when you look down at it, you can see where those tracings are. That was a lack of concentration. Hit back. Good to get back into it. Yes. It's like, what? It's the why now moment, isn't it? The why.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it's interesting. It looks as though he went too far on the edge and caught the edge of the boot. A lot of the skaters shave the sides of the soles of the boot, don't they, to give them more angle to get over on the edge. Looks like he hadn't taken quite enough off. So their season's best achieved at the European Championships this year, and 10.7 for the technical score. That's not good. That will give them 18.87, if my maths is correct. So well behind their personal best, and that'll put them into 7th place of the 8 that we've had so far. So to get us underway, the couple from Austria. 16th in the European Championships they were, 25th in the Worlds last year. They're 3 times national champions of Austria. This is 19-year-old Barbara Silna and 26-year-old Dmitry Matsyuk.
Stutter. Again, he's trying to do an angle with the body, slightly out of line though, so they're forcing the emphasis on things, and that's okay for a tango. Push it, try and get strong, try and get clipped, but it needs to be aligned. And there's a lot of force in this, but it's not got the coverage of the ice that we really need to see.
Well, I'm pretty sure they'd agree it was a nervy skate that. Looked as though they really didn't get down and into the ice at the beginning of the program. You saw the little stutter at the beginning, and when you're not relaxed, you can't get the knees working, can you? You can't get the strength that you would normally get.
Well, I think the style of that was more of, you know, to attack it with strong and try and get this clipped effect for the tango. So it's, instead of having that softness and the bend, they're trying to force through the edges, and it didn't really enable that flow to come as much as it could. And when you start to see the stutters, it's not that great. It does show, like you said, it does show you that the nerves through. And if we see it at the top end, he was trying to emphasize a certain movement. So they're working at the choreography, all the ice dancers, to try and emphasize a movement. But if he's going to lean, she has to lean too. Otherwise, it's out of line. And it was after this swing, he might not stay on it. No, he's not stayed on it. Now watch the free legs. Down in the knee, down. See her leg slightly higher than his when she's on the back edge. That was the bit. He's leaning to the side, his head's on an angle. And really, you have to get it foot perfect, body aligned perfectly. It's a good look they've got together, but maybe a little bit more relationship between the couple as well. The eyes focusing in. If you go to see a tango danced on the stage or in the theatre, you'll see the couples. It's a dance of love, the tango. You're looking at your partner. How's it coming off?
Yeah, it looked to me as though they'd had an argument, actually. A dance of love. But anyway, these two go down to Lyon and train with Muriel Zazoui, skate alongside Isabelle and Olivier, and that's not going to do them any harm at all. See there, their season's best 26.44, and those marks are going to put them, well, where are they going to put them? 24.85 should be 5th place, I think. So no season's best for them, and it is 5th place at this stage for Barbara and Dimitri. So perhaps looking for a little more than that. Muriel able to give us a smile though. So now to the Swiss national champions. Now training in the USA. They've got themselves a sponsor and able to train in America with Natalia Linachuk and Gennady Karponosov. This is Leonie Krail and Oscar Peter. First time in the World Championships for them. 20th in the Europeans they were this year. Some of the accents they're getting. Rise and fall of the knee, really accentuating the feel of the music. I like this section. Not the same flow as they got on the first sequence. Always more difficult to keep it going. Well, a good strong start to their campaign. First time at Worlds, you wouldn't believe it looking at those two out there. Leonie Krail, Oscar Peter from Switzerland.
And you can always see a top coach's influence on the ice dancers, Natalia and Gennady, giving them that poise right from the off. But they haven't yet, for me, got the strength to see it through, keep the two sequences consistently good. So the first sequence, much better than the second. The alignment of the free legs, the little flicks, worked much better than when they were doing it on the repeat. And that's part of the key, driving the end of the second sequence and getting it so that you've got the same speed as you have after all the preparatory steps, where you've got a big run into it, is part of the process here. It's so easy to get to just use that big run in and let yourself coast through the first side of the dance, but then when you restart, you have to replicate that. And they didn't quite have the power to be able to do that on this occasion.
Just looking at those slow motion shots, Nicky, her boots look like they've had a real battering, don't they? Held together there with tape.
Yeah, and it's funny that the tape, she's got it a different colour to the rest of the boot. I've not seen that before. That's the end of the second side, the camera running alongside them. There's not a man in that, it's actually on a wire, in case you were wondering. We're going to get some fantastic shots from that during the week.
The scores, please, for
Yeah, I have to say the setup for these World Championships is very, very good indeed. And all around the town there's banners and flags advertising the World Championships. So yeah, good to see.
And it seems really good organisation, welcomed here. Mind you, £1 for a cup of tap water, Chris.
Yes. I nearly choked, and I'm paying it. I'm converting into dollars, don't forget. So it's absolutely killing me. I can tell you it's not cheap here.
One glass a day.
So new season's best for the Swiss team. Well done to them. Great start to their campaign. 7th place it is.
22.38, which is a new season's best, and they are currently...
So 7th place, new season's best, but a good start for Leonie and Oscar.
How many times you said about presentation? 13? I think you have like 5th place. Or maybe 6th place. And if you have example 10...
Våldmästarskapet på isen kommer ifrån Frankrike.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing France, Natalie Khokhlova.
So the standard's going to go up here, there's no doubt about it. This couple, 12th last year, they'd love to get inside the top 10 if they possibly can. 5th time in the World Championships for them. They were 5th at the Europeans, representing France. This is Natalie Khokhlova and Fabienne Borzat.
Great intro. Oh, super edges. I love the overall presentation, the way the whole dance is put together. I think think that's been my favourite so far.
Absolutely tremendous. Natalie Peshala, Fabienne Bornzat right at the top of their game this afternoon. Well, Muriel Zazui must be thrilled with that. These two, of course, train alongside Isabelle Delobel Olivier Schoenfelder, and you can see the influence, the strength, the power in every stride. And they make the trip to Moscow as well to work with Alexander Zulin. So a lot of experience and a lot of knowledge going into this team.
And the outfits, it's a whole performance. At the ice dancers, you need to have the whole package. He's trying to capture the tango feel with her there. We're looking in part in the ice dancing at the man leading, and in the tango there's no getting away from it. The man has to lead, and he did. He has that feel and that look. Look at the eye contact on the start there. That's excellent. Difficult to do because you still have to maintain the alignment of your hips. The first sequence deeper than the second, but really lovely flowing edges. On the second side, the first sequence, the alignment at one point, I think it was on this bit, wasn't quite the same, but they got it better on the second sequence. But it's, look, you need to focus. It's a tango. You need to be dancing with your partner, look into her eyes, make it look like the blades are not there and you're just flowing. So you're doing all the work with the edges, but still presenting it. They did a great job with that. I liked it very much.
Well, if you've just switched on and joined us, we've already had the Americans, Tanith Belbin Benjamin Agosto. They lead, but she took a tumble. They got a score of 35.02, and that certainly cost them over 2 points, that mistake. You see the personal best, 34.87 for these two. It's a good technical score, 18.06. Well, they're going to go into second place with that score.
Yeah, I'm disappointed in that.
And it's close, though, very, very close to the Americans.
I think they should have been in first place so far.
Well, I'm with you on that.
No, that's not right.
So second it is, in behind Belbin and Agosto, ahead of Fraser and Lukanen. And so a job well done from the French team, and looking good for France at the moment in the opening stages of this ice dance event. We've got one more couple to go in this third group. Skaters warming up backstage. It's a fantastic arena, this. Warm-up areas all over the place. Here they are, the couple that finished in 12th place in the European Championships, were 23rd in the Worlds, their first time in last year, made it into the final round of free dance. Representing Lithuania, this is Catherine Koppeli and Davidas Stagninios.
The flow of the edge halfway down the second side on the second sequence. But good ankle bend and knee bend. His hips are a little back in places.
Well, a good effort from these two. This is a team that has made rapid progress. They've only been together, what, a couple of seasons now. And looking very assured out there.
You know, seeing them straight after Natalie and Fabienne, you can see the difference, the level of sophistication that can be applied into the start and the end and the dance itself. They haven't reached that level yet, either in the overall presentation of the costume nor in the way that the couple dance together. Some good parts in it. And that look and that focus, you want to be maintaining that right the way through. Didn't capture as much as the tango feel as they could have done, but strong edges. Again, really trying to push. Sometimes though I felt just the hips, you can see at times his hips just too far back. You need to really be pushing forward, dancing from the center. See, hips a little back. It stops the flow, not reaching right to the end of the rink there. You could see from that shot, some of the others on the restart will be pushing right up to the barriers, to the boards. And it's the commitment of the look. You can do the look, but does it look like you mean the look? So they were going through the motions, and that end shot really summed it up. A slight stutter, a slight movement, but you've got to mean it. If you show the passion, it has to come over to the audience, to the judges. Didn't quite convince me.
So, did it convince the judges? So, 28.81, their season's best, 16.09. They need it all. They've been hit really hard on the presentation, and judges not convinced either, Nicky. So where will have them? It is a new season's best of 29.85. Well, that's not bad at all. That has them in 4th place at this stage, in behind Fraser and Lukanen by a couple of points, but ahead of the Japanese couple. So we wish them all the very best here. 11th for the last 2 years in the World Championships. Their goal has to be a top 10 place here. 6th in the Europeans. And there's Mr. Platov, who sends them off. It is, of course, Sinead and John Kerr for Great Britain. They mean business. The rise and fall on the knee. Just pushing up before the twizzle. Oh, lovely. Very, very well done. Great start to the championships for them. John and Sinead Kerr for Great Britain in tip-top form here in Sweden. But of course, there's a long way to go. We've still got the original and the free dance, but Nicky, I don't think they could have skated that compulsory much better than that.
Looking very sharp and confident as ever. They're such experienced performers now. This hasn't been the strongest part, possibly. You know, we're used to them exciting the crowd in the OD and the free dance more than compulsories, but it's a whole performance. The judge is looking at the whole thing, and that was controlled. The rise and fall before the twizzle, particularly for me on the second side, really lot of power, really getting a great depth of edge up into the twizzle and maintaining the flow throughout the dance.
You can really sense the power from every push, really making the edges work, weren't they?
Well, all the top ice dancers these days in tremendous shape. The elements requiring that, your core body strength, particularly for the man, having to be phenomenal compared to what it was in the past. You could get away with not having quite the level of strength there.
You really did get a sense of a wonderful rise and fall in the knee throughout that
And
dance.
that's what you can develop the speed without even changing feet. If you get a rise and fall on the knee and the ankle and you get it working together, that really does drive through. So well done for them.
Everyone in Ireland? Hi, baby.
Okay, the moment of truth. 33.55, their best this season so far. If they get anything close to that, that would have them in third place at this stage, ahead of Fraser and Luukkonen. And good scores. They're going to get 33.48, so just behind their personal best. But that will be good enough to put them into third place, in behind the French team of Pechelat and Borzat, ahead of Fraser and Luukkonen. So pretty good news at the moment for the Brits. Third it is, a good skate. They're all smiles at the moment. Let's hope that gets them in around 10th place at this stage. There's a bit of a frown there from John, but it is third at the moment. So thumbs up and a job well done from John and Sinead. So now to another team that have never competed in a World Championships before. Massive moment for them. They were 19th in the European Championships. This is 19-year-old Joanna Budna and 20-year-old Jan Mościcki from Poland. Well, we've seen couples that are pretty much new partnerships, but these two have been skating together since their early childhood. Plenty of speed and strength on that first sequence, really right up to the boards on the top end. Well, for their first World Championships, they've done themselves proud. That was a strong performance, appreciated by the knowledgeable crowd here in the Scandinavian. Impressive speed across the ice, a real sureness and security about that. A young team, the newly crowned Polish national champions, competed in the World Junior Championships for the last 4 years, finished 13th last year. Really great look at the beginning of this compulsory dance. Really capturing the spirit of the tango. Now these slow motion shots really giving you a great idea of how the skaters have to use their ankle and really work those edges. Sometimes he was a little bit late picking the foot up. Good extension and alignment through that end. Occasionally just drifting apart a little bit. And that knee bend that was so evident when we watched John and Sinead, you can see just a little tight here. And sometimes when you get out into the heat of competition, particularly in your first World Championships, the nerves can play a part in that. Really difficult to get yourself relaxed and into the ice as much as you would do on the practice ice. Well, these two have a personal best of 28.76, which they got in the Junior Grand Prix. So 13.39. 10th place, I think, for these two. 23.61. That will put them in behind the Chinese, ahead of the Swiss. So there it is, 10th place for John and Jan. 3 couples behind them at the moment. Certainly pleased with the situation. Of course, all the teams with different goals.
Next to stage, representing Russia.
Well, this will be an interesting one for us. They come into the World Championships as substitutes for Oksana Domnina and Maxim Shabalin, the European champions. Shabalin has had an operation on his knee and still has problems, unable to compete here. So we wish them all the very best, and as we do these two. This is Katerina Bobrova and Dmitry Solovyev for Russia. Bronze medalists in Russian nationals this year, and they must be thrilled at the opportunity to come out and compete in these World Championships. Well, very impressive indeed. It's the first time that I've seen this couple, and it really never ceases to amaze me how much depth in talent the Russians have. Even now, there's so many of their coaches working abroad, although it has to be said that some of them have been influenced back to Russia to coach there. But certainly a super performance, and these two coming in as substitutes, really skating as though they belonged here at the World Championships. Tremendous strength all the way through that dance. Occasionally the alignment not quite there, but the power very, very impressive indeed. Some of the best ice coverage that we've seen so far. Well, no problems with the alignment through that section. Lovely deep in the knee. Good use of the arm through that section. Little turn of the head. Just adding little nuances to the performance. Beautiful expression. Well, it'll certainly be interesting to see how these two fare, coached by Elena Khokhlova. So the marks for Katerina and Dmitry, their personal best score, 35.52, which they achieved at the Junior World Championships last year, where they won. So 30.22, their season's best. And not quite going to make that, 29.12 the score, and that will put them into 6th place at this stage, in behind the Lithuanians, who skated very, very well indeed. So there's confirmation. 6th it is at the moment for Katerina and Dmitry, 6th of the 15 that we've had so far. Still got one team to go in this 4th group, and then 3 groups to go. So the final skaters in the 4th group, representing Israel. They were 8th last year. Oh, sorry, 8th in the European Championships, 14th they were last year. And there's another team really looking to get inside the top 10 if they possibly can. Couple that improve year on year. 20-year-old Alexandra and 24-year-old Roman Zaretsky for Israel. Well, loved the expression through that. These two really, really moving up the ranks in the 3 years. This is the third season that we've seen them competing at this sort of level. Lovely, strong, deep edges there. Could have worked a little bit harder on the cross rolls. Felt the depth of the edge there not as much as some of the other skaters, but on the whole, great performance from these two.
Sorry to have left you all alone there, Chris. I was just talking to Evgeny Platov, just asking. I asked him about the compulsory dances, whether he thought they should be taken out, because there's, if you just joined us, there's a question mark over these compulsory dances staying in the championships, and we've heard that they may not be in Vancouver in 2010, 2 years' time. He was saying he thought they should stay in. He said he likes them. It's the school of ice dancing. And I agree with him, but I said, you know, it's just boring for people watching. He said, I know. But it's not boring for us when we know it in detail. It's very interesting. So that was his opinion. I asked him also about the new marking system. Did he like it? Did it work? And he said it's really good that we have now criteria that we can see how good couples are. He said the problem is you do a new lift and then everybody watches it on video and copies it. So things that come up.
Well, just looking at these two, they couldn't have given that anymore, could they?
No.
Super effort. Galit Shea sat alongside Nikolai Morozov there. Great team, these two train in Hackensack, New Jersey. Really big school there of ice dance. So their season's best 33.12. If they can get close to that, it'll have them in third place ahead of the Kurds. But that's a good score for the Israeli couple. Very good indeed. That will have them in fourth place, just behind the Kurds, ahead of Fraser and Luukkonen. 32.51. So Belbin Agosto still leading. Peshalar Borzan for France second. Then it's the Kurds, and the Israeli team slotting into fourth place of the 16 that we've had so far. So group number 5, we've had 16 couples competing so far, and it's the Americans leading, the French in second, and the Brits in third. So our next couple didn't compete in the Worlds last year. They were 27th the year before. Finished 17th in the European Championships for the last couple of seasons. This is 20-year-old Kamila Hajkova and 24-year-old David Vinkor for the Czech Republic.
Little slip. it's okay, isn't it? It's okay, but it doesn't capture you. Is it really an Argentine tango? Is it capturing the passion of that? No, it's not really. It's a much more junior rendition of that dance.
Well, these two now 3 times the national champions of the Czech Republic, and a couple that are struggling really to make inroads here. 17th for the last 2 Europeans, and looking at the standard of dance that we've seen so far this afternoon, could be tough for these two to make it through, do you think?
I think it will be. We've seen others with much surer edges, and this really does separate the men from the boys. You have to be a supremely competent skater to make the dance look easy and to be able to drive those edges deeply as well as portraying the dance. And they're making the right moves, they're trying to express it, but it's the commitment of each movement. It's when you see the thing, people side by side, you see that a little bit stuttery, it's not flowing as deep as it can, his hips are a bit back, and every slight bit adds together. It's still not bad, they're still doing the steps, they're still doing accurate edges. And you see there's the difference. She's got the tights that cover the boots. That's the aim, is to make the legs look longer.
I could do with a pair of those then.
I could do with them too, actually. Not the tights, the longer legs I'm talking about.
Fine.
You like the tights, do you?
Well, anything to make my legs look longer.
See, his hips are quite back. And because the hips are back, he doesn't get quite the flow over the edge that he could get. Again, at the end, she's doing the drop, but he's not really with her as much as he could, as powerfully. All those little tiny extra bits add together.
So 24.88 there, season's best. They've got a personal best of 32.77, which they achieved back in 2004. So 24.06 it is for them, and that will put them into 11th place at this stage. 11th of the 17 that we've had so far. So not too bad for them. And they're smiling, that's the main thing. So now the standard will go up by some way, you can be assured of that. This a team that really do mean business out here. A great look for this Argentine tango from Federica Faiella and Massimo Scali from Italy. Finished just out of the medals at the Europeans in 4th place. They were 9th at the Worlds last year.
Good edges, up and around those curves. As the top couples do, putting different interpretation with the arm movements and the way See there, her arm forward. And here too. Lead go, you've got to maintain the position.
Well, I love that. Maybe not the power of some of the other teams that we've seen. These a shorter team. In fact, Massimo there's not a lot of difference between Massimo and Federica, but I thought it was one of the smoothest ones that we've seen.
Yeah, going up and around the curves, particularly on the first sequence. Lovely flow over the ice. And they work to capture the dance. So it's called an Argentine Tango. And if you saw in the break, Isabelle and Olivier being referred to as doing the Yankee polka. They made it a Yankee polka at the Europeans, so it became the American sheriff doing the Yankee bit of the polka. And here you're doing an Argentine tango, so you need to capture that. And you get the look, you get the costume, you get all the movements to add to it. And you can see they managed to capture that focus to the judges. And then you have to do those prescribed steps within that. More difficult, of course, to maintain the precision of the alignment of the couple when you're not holding on with both hands.
He talked earlier, Nicky, about the relationship between the couples, and these two seemed to have the right balance, didn't they? They were playing to the judges, but every now and then they came back to each other, and I loved it.
Yes, when you see, she's trying to, in the Argentine tango, sometimes the guy is not really looking at the girl, and you've got to win her a bit. You know, the girl's got to win you, or you've got to win the girl, and they're just portraying that on the second side. So you've taken some set steps and you've made it your own, you've made it different, and that all adds to the overall impression the judges are seeing. And when you focus out to the judges, that's great because it's stage front for you. But really, when we look at the couple and they're dancing together, we see a fantastic picture, and that's what they're able to put over to us.
Pascual Camerlengo sat alongside. Now they'll be aiming to finish ahead of Peschler and Borzat if they possibly can. And these marks are good. 36.8, and very, very good marks for Faiella and Scali. And I can tell you, looking down here, they go into the lead by some way. Now, they will be thrilled when they see this. A new season's best for them. And Faiella and Scali lead ahead of Belbin and Agosto. They haven't seen that yet, but they will be thrilled. Just wait for the reaction, and there it is. Well, a little muted because they know there was a long way to go in this championships, but a fantastic achievement. Couldn't have done more, could they?
They couldn't. And it shows the marking system working.
Well, we stay with the Italian team. And from the national champions, we go to the Italian runners-up for the last 2 years. But it's certainly a couple with a lot of talent, and a couple that have made tremendous inroads over their short time competing at the highest level. They were 7th at the Europeans, 13th in the World Championships last year. Anna Capellini and Luca Lanotti.
Good start. like this. The edge depth is very good. Second sequence, not quite the sureness and the extension of the free leg that it had on the first. On that first side. Let's see what we can do on the second side now.
Oh, wow. Well, isn't it great when a couple come out and sort of skate outside of the box?
Yeah.
Wasn't expecting that sort of performance from them. Really, really good. Anna Capellini and Luca Lanotte continuing to impress us. Let's hope the judges go with that.
Well, I think the first sequence was really very, very smooth, very fast, and great alignment in it. The second sequence didn't have that quality, and we mentioned it before, but you've got the run-in of your starting, your pre-steps before the dance starts, that you can get the speed up and then use that, and that really helped them. But then to maintain it for the second sequence is quite a feat, and they didn't maintain it as much as they could have done, but still it shows the quality they can produce. And I think, yeah, it bodes well, and the quality of the opening as well was excellent. He's got lovely presence. One of the things the judge is looking for is the man's lead.
I was just so impressed with the skating quality.
Yeah. I think the first sequence is one of the best we've seen.
Yeah, absolutely.
Now you can see all those patterns on the ice, lovely camera shot.
Yeah, look how wide they were out there.
And you can see that some people go farther out and do deeper edges than the others, right to the corner, and then you need to go up and around that lobe. Always, when you're comparing yourself to the other skaters, you look at the lobes they do and you aim to be on the outside of the lobe. You need to be showing to the judges that you can cover more ice and have more speed than any of the others. See, there he's going for clear ice, slightly different pattern, didn't have quite the power. That's probably the second sequence that he had on the first. But a lovely match to the couple. This, I think, was the end. And he's got the focus there. There you go. Picture positions is what you aim for in the ice dancing, and they achieved it for a lot of the time on there. Well done.
Yeah, really, really good performance. So here we go then. 32.23 their personal best. That would have them well, in 6th place if they can get close to that, and not quite. I don't think they've quite done that, have they? 7th place I think it'll be for them. 31.52, 7th in behind Fraser and Lukanen, ahead of the Lithuanians. So perhaps a little disappointing, and the marks reflecting perhaps the weakness of that second sequence, as Nicky pointed out. But overall, a tremendous performance by the Italians this afternoon.
Yeah, and I think Roberto alongside him, he'll be delighted with that, and the way they're looking so assured out there. Good job from him too. Oh.
So here we go. They may not have seen the tumble early on, but they will certainly be aware of it by now. That is for dead sure. Representing France, runners-up at the European Championships this year. Of course, they were champions of last year. 4th in the Worlds last year. Setting the scene, Isabelle Delobel Olivier Schoenfelder.
Oh, it's lovely to watch the flow they have over the ice.
Just sensational. Loved it. From the moment their names were called, they went out and really threw down the gauntlet, haven't they? I mean, just fantastic.
What they've done is they've invented a way of taking it from when they're announced to go out onto the ice to take even the place with no music. He goes on and does his thing, putting his jacket on. She goes, stands by the judges. They come on, and then they're creating, they're getting ready together, and then the preempt before the dance starts, and then the dance itself. He did a different pattern to all the other skaters. He went inside on the first side, all the major tracings. So it worked great. They repeated it, smack on top of each other, but he was off the main tracing line. So whether he did that because he's wanting to stay outside of the tracing line, whether it was a strategic decision or it's just the way they've made the dance, they did it slightly differently. And that's what they're doing. They're doing things slightly differently all the time. The end was simple, assured, not too much. There's a lot going on at the start, but God, lovely skating.
Yeah, I really thought it was. Just one question mark was for me was I thought Isabelle's edge quality on the second half of the second sequence. She looked a little wobbly to me. Now maybe one point where she didn't get the weight quite over the right part of the skate, but that was all I could see really.
I thought the alignment and the holding of some of the edges just there wasn't as precise as I've seen them on some other dances, but you see that little flick of the foot. That's what we like. We like to see a dance being made a couple's own. And in the tango, if you learn it, there are those little flicks of the feet. But I just love to watch him skate.
Yeah, me too.
He generates so much power without it looking like it's an effort. And that, to me, is such amazing class as an ice dancer. He's the best at that here for me.
Certainly real skill and very good marks. 20.79. They are running away with this compulsory dance. 19.94. It's not going to be a season's best for them, but they'll take it. 40.73 the total score, and they go shooting into the lead, and that is very, very bad news for the Americans, who down in third. But the real story is they're over 5 points behind the French. Fantastic for the French. The judges have gone with them, and rightly so. So France leading, Faiella and Scali for Italy second, Belbin and Agosto for the USA down in third place. One couple to go in this fifth group. Couple that finished just out of the top 10 at the Europeans. They were 11th this year, 10th the year before. Twice competed in the World Championships, finished down in 17th place last year. Representing the Ukraine, this is Anna Zorunyuk and Sergei Verbilo. certainly a good performance from the Ukrainian team, who've had a pretty good season. Finished third in the Cup of Russia at the end of last year. Didn't fare so well in Beijing in the Cup of China, where they finished down in 6th place, but certainly a good performance from Anna Zadorogniuk and Sergei Verbilo. Thought I'd say it again because I mucked it up the first time.
I wasn't going to say anything. It wasn't. It was Zadorogniuk. Yeah. Well, it's a different style, isn't it? It's more aggressive, high free legs, and not the softness that we saw from the French. So seeing one after the other, I look at it and I go, okay, what's going on here? This looks like you're pushing to get the dance. There isn't quite the putting over of what the dance is to me, but it's very competent and it's strong. But you're not really convincing me. And I think when you have the high free legs, it can work, but at times it was just I don't know, times it looked good, but other times I'm a bit like something missing. At least that's clear then.
I think it's difficult for these two going after Isabelle and Olivier. We've seen so much power out there.
Yes.
You can't help but feel a little flat when they come out, can you?
I think it summed it up by there. He's got this very high free leg position, and sometimes it just misses the alignment. I think there's a freedom in that, being able to do the end at everything but the kitchen sink in it. I thought it was like going to be a free dance, but make the most of it. Interesting, the French did very little at the end because they'd done the stuff at the start. So again, trying to be different, but competent.
So marks now for Anna and Sergei. 15.34, not too bad for the technical score. They're looking for more for presentation, and that's going to put them into 10th place. We've still got 10 couples to go. So 29.31. Just about 2 points less than they achieved at the Europeans last month. So all smiles at the moment. The penultimate group just about ready to come out onto the ice, and that is the situation, and you can see that is quite a mammoth lead there for the French team. Not necessarily over the Italians, it's the Americans that they'll be interested in. But a great performance from Federica and Massimo. Disappointment for the Americans, that's the situation further down. The Argentine Tango here, and to get us underway in this penultimate group, couple who were runners-up in the US National Championships this year, in behind Belbin and Agosto, runners-up in the 4 continents as well. This is 21-year-old Merrill Davis and 20-year-old Charlie White for the USA.
High free legs, they need to match when they're at the back as well as when you can see them in front of you. Good movement coming up. like that.
Well, there's no doubt about it. On the back of the success of Tanith and Benjamin, the depth of talent in ice dance in the USA is increasing all the time, and these two really showing the proof of that. Great performance there by Merrill Davis and Charlie White.
I thought it had some really good moments to it. There were some parts where, to me, the body alignment wasn't as clean as it could have been. I do feel he's a little bit forward in the shoulders at times, forcing through the dance and the edges. And just on the opening, you know, you need to be using every movement, every step, and they just gave away a couple of points just before they start. That lovely, that's very nice. There you are, capturing the tango. It's that back leg, is it completely aligned? It was there, going round the top end, it wasn't at times. And again, it's not as precise as he could, but I love that the little flick. A bit more point on the toe, on the swing before the twizzle. If it sounds panitiki, that's what it is. Very nice. Thank you, everybody who's sending messages in on our message board. We're deluged with things here. Mrs. Red Boot says, I do hope they don't abolish the compulsory dances. So, there we are. Yeah, she's saying, as a rather elderly and incompetent ice dancer myself, it's quite my favourite discipline to watch. It's wonderful to watch the best skaters in the world showing us how the dancers should be done, and it gives us something to aspire to.
So marks up for Merrill and Charlie. 31.74 their best, 34.80 a tremendous score for them, and that puts them into 5th place. So great news for these two. 5th in behind Peshala and Borzat. Bad news for the Brits. The Kerrs dropped down a place into 6th, but not an awful lot in it. So great performance, and there's part of the American contingent. They'll take that result.
Yeah, Mrs. Redboots, good luck with your own competition later on in the year. She says your commentary on the ice dancing, Chris, is helping her prepare for that.
Is it?
That's good.
Good. Not quite sure how to take that, but...
Actually said it's our commentary, what we're bringing to her party.
Good stuff. Well, we're pleased about that. Moving along now. Another couple competing in their first World Championships. 13th in the Europeans they were. The Russian runners-up. Ekaterina Rubleva and Ivan Schaefer.
Pushing up and around the circles on that first leg of the dance as much as they could have done, clipping the edges.
Well, these two flying the flag in a depleted Russian team here in the ice dance event because of the absence of Domnina and Shabalin. But a good performance.
Yeah, competently skated. Alexander looking on with Irina, and I think for me what they've chosen to do is a slightly different approach to the first half of the dance, and so they're not allowing the circles to run, and I prefer it when there is more allowance of those circles to run, but they did it consistently on both, so I'll be interested to see how the judges react to that. What it means is that the lobes, what we call a lobe of the circle, the curve isn't as deep, and it's a little straighter in certain parts. But they're strong and driving. Here we are skating alongside them. Lovely with that camera. Now watch, you want to get right up to the end. Now this is the first side. Now here, on this section, he doesn't let it run around the lobe, so he cuts off it, and then he cuts back into the middle. So you don't get quite the same amount of ice coverage. But it's a style, doing the right edges, so that's okay.
Yeah, it looked to me as though he could have been a little bit nervous there. Didn't really seem to get down into it and put as much pressure on the edges as some of the other skaters, or we'd expect from a team of this caliber.
Yeah.
Remember, we've still got the main contenders from the Russian team to go in the final group. Khokhlova and Novitski, bronze medalists in the European Championships, but we focus on these marks. 29.18 would have them in around 12th place, so where do they slot? In fact, it is 12th place for them. 29.14, so not quite a personal best or a season's best for them. And they slot in 12th, just ahead of their teammates Bobrova and Soloviev, in behind the Ukrainian couple. So an interesting battle brewing there in the Russian team. So on the ice now, the bronze medalist in the Canadian Nationals this year. First time in the World Championships, 20-year-old Ali Hann-McCurdy, 23-year-old Michael Coreno. Well, a good solid skate from these two. A couple who finished in 4th place in Skate Canada in Quebec City last year. Currently training in Burnaby, suburb of Vancouver, where they train with Victor Kratz, the 2003 ice dance world champion, with Shailene Bourne, of course. The training centre that they skate in has no less than 8 rinks under one roof. No shortage of ice there, is there?
I'd forget which one to go to. I'd always be in the
You'd
wrong
be in the
place.
wrong one,
I
wouldn't
would. I'd just... Which one are we in today? Yes. A lot to admire in that. She impresses me. The way that she skates out and leads. When you've got a girl that has that sort of power, then you just wander along behind her. And having a very good girl skater is so important if the girl has the ability to skate out and lead, and it looked like she was doing that in part in that routine, particularly around the top end on this section here. It was good. Now they tried something different here on that, trying to get just a lazy movement and then pulling back into it. Didn't quite work for me, but good try to try and get it, but it just didn't quite capture that what they were going for. You can see it on the first, see the gold blades on the first sequence. They had more softness and more ice coverage than they did on the second, which can happen. Not a lot, but there was a little bit slower. It's just a little forced. When you see it in super slow motion like that, you can see that there isn't quite the gentle softness that the French can deliver. That's what the dancers aspire to, but a good performance nevertheless.
Yeah, certainly didn't look nervy, did they? Came out with confidence.
Nope.
Remember, first World Championships for them, and just really knocking on the door of Senior Championships. So 25.51 their season's best, and hoping to do better than that. 28.33, good score for them, and that puts them into 14th place. So they'll take it. I think looking at the body language there, they skated that as well as they could.
Quick poll on the compulsory dances. You seem to be all saying keep it, and Seth saying how can normal people have any sort of meaningful vote on a compulsory dance issue? Bring back the second one again. Let's see some more. That seems to be it. And if you want to see more detailed results of the World Figure Skating Championship, go to isu.org. People are saying, they want to know more about the schedule. isu.org gives you the full schedule and results actually as they happen during the championship.
Okay, the Germans out on the ice now. These the runners-up in German national championships, and come as substitute for Christiana and William, who have a foot injury. William has a foot injury, so here they go. Nelly Ziganshina and Alexander Gazzi for Germany. Couple who, remember, only found out a couple of days ago that they would be competing in these World Championships, and for the last couple of months they haven't been working on the compulsories or the original, so we wish them all the best here.
Looking good so far. after the first sequence, I was going to say maybe they should take more time off, but they lost that flow. They lost that coverage of the ice in the second sequence. Just a touch, lost the sharpness. But a very good effort, nevertheless.
Yeah, a real shame, because they did look strong, and that perhaps the problem with not being able to train prior to these championships and the bad preparation.
And it is the issue for me of always, you have the run up to start off and you can make the first sequence look just easy because you're going on the back of all the starting crossovers, but to do it from the end of the second side to generate that speed again, it's a bit like the restart the blues. I always found it really difficult. That's when the depth of power comes into play.
Well, they certainly sold it, didn't they?
They certainly did.
And of course, touring with Katarina Witt on a farewell tour, that's going to help them with their presentation, but not necessarily with the technical aspect that's required in these compulsory dances. A couple that train in Moscow, as well as in Chemnitz in Germany.
We've had a mail in from Alexei Yagudin. I presume it's not the real one, because she said, I come from an Irish dance background and it's so difficult to make comparisons of basic technique amongst the top dancers, as different people are better at different things. So I think what she's saying is that if you have doing the same steps, you're just comparing people side by side, then you have the ability to look at who is better overall. That's what I see. If everybody does a different original dance and everybody does a different program, mind you, we do have set elements in there now, I think we'd be losing something from the sport.
So how will the Germans fare? 15.30, not too bad, the technical score. Presentation, they've been hit a bit there. That won't do them any favors. So it's going to be 16th place for them. It's a season's best, but then a brave effort. 16th place for Nelly and Alexander. In behind the Japanese couple, just ahead of Weaver and Poje of Canada.
Yeah, well done for them. No time for nerves, is it? There you are, you're going to be going. And they've just turned up and done the job.
Yeah, really good effort. Well, one couple to go in this sixth group here in this compulsory dance. And the couple never competed in the World Championships before. 10th they were in the 4 continents. Comparatively young team representing Australia. This is 18-year-old Danielle O'Brien and 19-year-old Gregory Merriman. Couple who train in Sydney with Monica McDonald. Big moment for them.
See the lack of sophistication on the preparatory steps. A little jerky, and the depth on the first side in particular nowhere near what some of the other skaters have managed to achieve, so they're covering less ice. that's where the compulsory dance is so unforgiving. You can see they've just not got the power or the strength of some of the other couples. That's where the advantage of that direct comparison kicks in.
Absolutely. Well, these two, the newly crowned Australian national senior champions, they've been 3 times junior champions, and sometimes a struggle to make that transition from junior competition.
Yes, and when you've got people in your country that are at the top of the game, then you grow up with that and you play into that. If you haven't got anybody that's really high, and Australia hasn't got anybody in the ice dance at the moment that's really high in the rankings for them to play to, they'll be here learning masses by seeing the relative speed and the way other people behave. And skate, of course. I mean, it's always creditable to go out there and do it, but we are looking down and we have this comparison of the ice coverage, because it's the same steps. It's how impressive you are in doing those steps. And Laura B says, I think that the compulsory should stay because you can tell apart the really good skaters from the poor ones. I think that sums it up. The compulsory dances must stay. It's fundamental to the whole sport and to the discipline. That's from Jane Mapp. Anybody out there want the compulsories to go? Please go on our website and send us an email. Let us know. And they'll be learning too. It's not supposed to influence the mark of the judges, but the start and the end of the dance. You really set the scene for what's going to come, the meat in the sandwich, the compulsory dance itself, and they didn't deliver as much as they could in that.
And of course they can go back to Sydney and Australia and really work and try and use some of the experience from competing here at Sweden. So you can see those marks are an awful lot lower than anything that we've had so far. So 20.24 will put them in 24th place of the 26 that we've had so far. So now to get us underway, representing Estonia. First World Championships for them. They were 23rd in the Europeans. This is Kristina Kudma and Alexei Trolev. Young team. Kristina 18, as is Alexei. He was celebrated his 18th birthday last week. So a good performance here would be a great present for him. This is a bit forced. Look at the alignment of the top of the bodies. Pushing against each other a bit. Well, you felt that was on the cards, didn't you? Oh dear. And when it goes wrong, it really takes the wind out of your sails. You just have to keep pushing to the end. They haven't got the experience really to deal with it as some of the other skaters yet, but golly, again and again we see how difficult it is. Well, that was a long minute and a half, wasn't it? Gosh, it was indeed, yes. You have to feel for them. First time at an event like this, well, they did the Europeans, 23rd there, but that wasn't what they were looking for at all, and right from the off, they didn't look into it.
They didn't look comfortable at all. It's not very charitable to say it, but those that are lower down demonstrate how good the top skaters are by, you can see that the body positions as they're skating are not aligned. There isn't that ease. It should look effortless to be doing the very difficult steps, and the more alignment you get, it's like holding yourself as a ballroom dancer. They actually, a lot of the skaters do ballroom and do different types of dance in order to get the core strength and the alignment. And if you haven't got that, you end up pushing against each other, and at times that was what was happening here. He's back with the hips. You can see the hips are back, and when your hips are back and you're doing a cross roll swing, was not the follow through on the swing there before she did the twizzle. And here, get down in the knee. You've got to drive. You've got to drive. His hips are way back. When your hips are back, when you're skating, it stops that flow. I was way back when I was competing with Karen, we'd look at the Russians, and we hadn't had the ballet training. They had ballet training as much as they had ice dance training. Since then, I've been in the ballet studio doing the exercises, and it lifts your body up. It gets you in a much better position over the skate. He needs a little bit of time off the ice doing some dance as well.
It was a strange fall, that, wasn't it?
It was almost a
gentle.
Yeah, a lazy fall.
He sat down.
It's not quite. You wouldn't have felt it lazy, but he wasn't fighting to stay up. The weight just got a little bit back, over-rotated.
You were talking about his hips being too far back. At that point, his hips went.
They went
a
up a
long way back.
and then back and poof.
So marks aren't going to be good, and they're going to get a point deduction for the tumble. So nowhere near their personal best, and they are going to be right at the bottom of the pile, I think. 16.72 it is, yeah. Just over a point behind the Bulgarians. So it'll be 27th place out of the 27 we've had. 4 couples to go. Now, this really the only couple in this final group that can shake things up at the top. The Russian national champions, bronze medalists in the European Championships, looking for a good skate here this afternoon. This is Yana Hochlova and Sergei Novitski. 8th in the world's last year, but threatening to do much better here in Sweden.
Sharp, deep and flowing, like the leg back. Make the same pattern on the second sequence. I like the leg back there. Nice difference in the interpretation here too. Little flick of the foot. Nice touch. The height difference. Easier to do the second section. Looks good.
Really, really enjoyed that. Tremendous drama. It was strong, fluid. Loved the little flicks that you were picking out there, Nicky. I just thought that was clean, sharp, and secure.
And they did a free dance before they started off with the lift and everything.
They did, didn't they?
Like everything.
That was a whole routine. Well, you've got to say that that's going to be at least second place, isn't it?
Chris, I don't know how to be a judge in this competition. I think for me, I would have it probably second. I would have it second. It was very, very smooth, very assured. The second side, just after the twizzle, I thought he was just a little back with his hips compared to what he could be to get the alignment just perfect. But they have that height difference. She's slight against him, so it gives you different things to do. I wouldn't argue with her. That look she gave him at the beginning, it was like, you get this right. And they take up a lot of space with their movements. The gloves work for her, emphasizing the movements. Here we are, starting off with the lift. You wouldn't have seen that a few years ago. And here, up, rise, and change. Change edge, then cross behind. So they're going up and around those circles. You turn up and around the circle, up and around it again on the change of edge. Nice to put the leg back there. And here we are, watch, drive it round, but stay focused. That section, not bad. And again, the leg back. And you can see, because you've got the height difference and the girl is slight, it enables you to maintain a really good aesthetic look. There's the second sequence, the second side, and the end. Everything but the kitchen sink to make it look a tango.
Yeah, it really was polished. Well, just to put the competition into perspective, 40.73 is the target, that of Delobel and Schoenfelder. The Italians 37.15, and these marks are good. That will be good enough to put them into second place. 37.98, so a new season's best it is for Khokhlova and Novitski. So more bad news for Belbin and Agosto. Tremendous job from the Russian number ones. So there's confirmation, second. So now France leading, Russia second, Italy third, and the USA in fourth place. So on the ice now, another young couple competing for the first time in the World Championships. And in fact, Christina Barta here, the youngest ice dancer in the event, just 16 years of age, with a partner, Adam Toth, who's 22. It's smoothly skated. I like the way this load runs out and then around, but they haven't got the speed that they require yet. good effort from these two. It lacked the sharpness, didn't it, that we've seen from the other couples?
It did. It was clean and well presented, but we're in the World Championships and you need to be exceptional and creating a new little movements within the overall flow of the dance and have power and conviction in everything you do, even on the compulsory dance section, which is the Argentine Tango. So that was well done, but we need it excellently done. Maybe
Yes.
she'll be skating in one of the events in the future.
Well, it's her first year competing in senior international events, just up from the juniors, 15th in the Junior World Championships last year, and they were the Hungarian Junior National Champions last year. So again, it is a big move, isn't it?
It certainly is. And I'd say to him, if you were ringside, I'd say, when you look at her, mean it. You got a beautiful girl in front of you, you're dancing a tango. How would that be? What would it be like? What would you feel like if you were actually trying to win the lady over and surprise her a little bit and all that? And it's, and that it's acting. Ice dancing is a lot about acting out there. You're trying to portray how it would be if you were under the fan in some Buenos Aires club. You stand underneath the fan because you hold your space and you keep cooler there. There's Sandor doing each step as he's done it in the past.
Is that a voice of experience? Standing under the fan?
In salsa in Brighton, I've stood under the fan and held the space for sure.
Have you?
Mind
Did it work?
Yeah, it did. It did. Mind you, it helps after I've had a couple of glasses of red wine. I think I'm better. Okay.
Okay. So 21.17, you can see their season's best. That would get them in about 19th spot if they got close to that, but 21.44, new season's best for them. And that good enough to have them in 25th place. Remember, all of the skaters participate in the original dance, and then the top 24 make it through to the free dance. So they'll be looking to just pull up a couple of places if they can when they take part in the original. So now, to a couple who finished in 6th last year, winners of the 4 continents. Another couple who could possibly shake things up at the top, representing Canada, Tessa Virtue and Scott Moir. Got some speed up at the beginning of this.
Wow, and some of the deepest edges on the first side we've seen so far. Look at that. Now, can they keep the speed going on the second sequence? It's great so far. Driving the edges. Wow, I loved it. I loved it. Power, sharpness, speed, driving through the whole dance. I think that's my favourite. I think that's my favourite of the afternoon.
Well, Nicky stuck his neck on the line. I enjoyed it as well, and I really, really hope that the speed that these two generated came across on the TV, because I can tell you, at the beginning of the dance, without any question, they had generated the most speed going into the first sequence. And then, at the end of the first sequence, on the cross rolls, they managed to generate speed to get into that second sequence as well.
So much power, and they're the second sequence matched.
Brilliant.
Very, very strong, very strong.
You were saying about the deep edges. They needed those deep edges, didn't they? At the end of the first half, they'd been
out of rink.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was good, that. I enjoyed it.
Excellent.
Well, that's thrown the cat amongst the pigeons.
My words.
And Tanith and Benjamin must be absolutely kicking themselves.
Well, I don't know. I don't know. I feel I don't know enough about the technicalities of the sport these days. I need to train to be a technical specialist, but you're not allowed to do that if you work in the media. So, you know, I can't get that degree of understanding, but for me, that has to be above Tanith and Belbin. Tanith and Belbin, they fell over on one section of the dance. So that was, in my mind, possibly not the pristine level of presentation that Tanith and Belbin had, but it was close to it. But skating-wise, woof, it was up there.
Yeah, it was.
I thought it was better than theirs from skating-wise.
How about the Italians? They're in third place, remember? Faiella Scali.
Yeah, well, I think this had more ice coverage. It had more power overall. It definitely covered more ice. But we'll see.
A personal best of 38.22, so if they get up around there, they're going to be in second place. But, oh, look at that, 20 points. Wow, these are good marks. 36.25, their season's best. They've smashed that. 38.71 it'll be, and second place it is for the Canadians.
I think they're unlucky. I think they did enough. For me, I would have had them first. Can understand the presentation, because they're saying the French, overall, that presentation that they do is so fantastic. But goodness me. You can see on technical, they're right up there.
Wow, that really was a tremendous performance, and I've got to say that this is being a bit of an upset. It's great to see the ice dance like this not going to form.
Yes, yes.
Good stuff.
In the past, it would have been dead men's shoes, not anymore.
Okay, so we've got one couple to go. Bronze medalists in the 4 continents this year. First World Championships for them. Well, these two, would you believe, only got their luggage yesterday. So it hasn't been a great experience so far coming to Sweden. We wish them the very best of luck. Kimberly Navarro and Brent Bomentry for the USA.
Competent. I like the turn with her hands up. Not quite touching at the top. I'd be saying to her, just see if you can touch those hands together, emphasize the movement even more. Good good performance, but not the power that we've seen from some of the others.
Well, I'll tell you what, Nicky, here's a story for you, if ever there was one. You know, I said he lost his suitcase and it arrived the day before, or it arrived yesterday.
Yes.
In fact, it didn't arrive at all. So what happened was that he went out and bought a tango costume here in Sweden in a dance shop. And a fan of his from Philadelphia flew in yesterday with his second pair of skates, the ones that he was planning to go into in the summer. So he's not even skated in these skates.
Goodness me.
What a great effort. And what a great effort from the fan as well.
Gosh.
So never skated in the costume, never skated in the skates.
Friend indeed. Well, it used to be that
done.
we'd take our boots and one outfit in our hand luggage, didn't it? But now the skates are, you know, dangerous weapons.
Yeah.
So you're not allowed to take them through. So that's why people get to Japan and can't skate in the championship sometimes. It's a funny world we live in.
Well, I tell you what, that was a sterling effort, was it? Because you'd never know.
I mean, if he's skating in new boots and they're not being broken in at all.
Yeah. Now, I don't know whether he skated in them before, but even so, they're not going to feel like the old ones. And if any of you have ever gone into new boots, I can tell you that the boots that these guys are skating in are very, very strong, and it does take time to break them in. And for him to be able to stand on an edge with that amount of security and skate with that sort of confidence, very, very well done.
He might have sore ankles by the end of the week.
Yeah, that's a point.
I bet he's had them on off the ice. Walking, he'd have them on all the time, walking around in them trying to make them.
Brilliant.
Good job. Good
well
job.
done, guys. We're fans. Okay, now, enough of that. What will the judges have to say? Of course, they won't mind or won't even know about the new boots, probably. So, 17.23, 14.25. So that's a new season's best for them. 31.48. They'll take that. There's no doubt about that. And that puts them in 12th place. So a tremendous effort from the Americans. Very, very well done when you consider all that's happened over the last couple of days or so. Well, what an afternoon it's been, and a real shake-up at the top. Isabelle Delobel Olivier Schoenfelder leading with a splendid performance. The Canadians, well, they were sensational. Virtue and Moir in second there. Then the Russians, Khokhlova, Novitski, who skated well. Faiella and Scali skated out of their skins for that fourth spot. Really, really smooth. Belbin and Agosto, in Nicky's book, perhaps lucky to be down in 5th place. Then the French Péchelat ou Borzat, who we thought were great. Great news for the Brits in 8th place there, the Kerrs. They'll be looking to try and stay there and stay inside that top 10. The Russians locked together there in 15th and 16th spot. That's the situation further down. Remember, all the couples make it through into the original dance, and then the top 24 into the free dance.
Yeah, and we really do appreciate all your comments this afternoon. Natalie in Turkey. My name's changed from Simon. I'm Nicky. She says it's great to hear Simon and Nicky commentating.
Well, I hope you enjoyed it. We'll be back for the pairs tonight, 8 o'clock Central European Time, 7 o'clock in the UK. So that wraps it up from Sweden this afternoon. Hope you've enjoyed it. It's been a long afternoon, but certainly an enjoyable one. And remember, we've got the pairs short program this evening, the start of the campaign there. That's certainly to be very exciting indeed. And the original dance for the ice dance takes place on Thursday, 1 o'clock Central European Time, an hour earlier in the UK. Till later on tonight, bye from Nicky.